Welcome back to Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy and we're going to get straight into our explosive penny stock watch list. So right now we're looking at TSNPD here on the daily time frame. Humble had a tough day, down 3.15%, and so we are sitting right below our level of support here on the wedge. But remember, we did have a triangle formation prior to this bull flag, and so don't be surprised if Humble tests these lows of 255. I believe that is our level of support here on this uptrend, and that is our last level of support. Once we break this level of support, we do become bearish on Humble in the short term on a technical basis, and so this is a level that we are going to watch very closely. If we do decide to get to this point, this would be a very great opportunity to be averaging down any positions that you personally have, or even getting into Humble if you have yet to do so. So keep an eye on that level of 255 because it's going to be a very hard line of support that we need to hold. Next stock of the day, we're looking at SNDL on the daily time frame. So we were down 6.79% today. On a technical basis, we are still above our support line, above all our SMAs. Our MACD is starting to converge here with our signal line, so this is going to be a very critical line to be watching. If we could cross over, that will be extremely bullish here for SNDL. But if we bounce and get rejected here, that would be extremely bearish for SNDL because that would bring our MACD to a negative level, and we haven't seen a negative MACD since about November of 2020. So this is going to be a very critical level to be watching for SNDL. I do believe with all the catalysts and an upcoming earnings report, we will push higher. But if you look at the volatility index, it does let us know that we will be getting a correction in the next couple of days. And so that might impact SNDL in the short term. And so there's a lot of stuff to factor in if you are trading or investing into SNDL. Next stock of the day, we're looking at IGEN here on the daily time frame. So we had a very tough day here, down almost 10%. One thing to mention on IGEN though, we did not have too much selling. You can see right here that the volume, even though it was red, was very insignificant to what we have seen in the past. And so to see this type of sell-off is not really warranted, and that does let me know that these are great opportunities to continue to average down that position or buy into this position. Another thing to mention here is our RSI. You can see we have been on an uptrend here on our RSI. We have an RSI of about 48 right now, and what we really need tomorrow is to bounce off this level. Obviously, it may not be as clean as that. We may get some price action below, and we may eventually claw our way back. But if we do bounce off this level, that would be extremely bullish here for IGEN. Another pattern on the RSI that I want to mention, which is not out of the realm of possibility, is this downtrend right here. You can see where we have tested this as support a whole bunch of times, and so we would not be surprised if we were to break this level and get a test of this level. That would not be surprising at all. But until that happens, we are still bullish and still long here on IGEN. Next stock of the day, we're looking at HITI on the 30-minute time frame. So HITI was only down 2.53%. And so if you guys just take this in relative to SNDL, held up a lot better during this sell-off than an SNDL and even a Tilray. Tilray was down over 10%. And so seeing HITI down so little on a sell-off day, again, gives me more confidence. Remember, Afria and Aurora Cannabis are heavily invested into High Tide. And so on a technical basis, we are still trading in our flag. One thing I still want to see is a test of this 50 SMA. And I do want to warn investors right now that since the inception of this stock, we haven't tested our 50 SMA. And so we need that to happen. And I do believe that will happen. And so if we continue to trade at these levels, I would love to see our 50 claw and come back into this area. But if you have yet to get into High Tide, I do believe that you will potentially get an opportunity on a back test of that 50 SMA in the near term. And so we are still just holding High Tide. We are still waiting for this pattern to play out. As of right now, we are still just kind of in the middle. This pattern does conclude here on April 14th. And so that does get us near 420. And so that is just kind kind of me speculating a little bit, but HITI again is a great long-term hold, one of my bigger positions, and so solid day even though we were down 2.53%. Next stock of the day, we're looking at WDLF on the 30-minute time frame, and there were some of you who asked me what these guys do. Essentially, Social Life Networks helps other companies uplist and list onto major exchanges. One of their biggest ones right now is MJNA, and so they get 15% stakes in these companies once they have gone public, and they have to return at least $1 million of revenue to Social Life Network. So this is a company that just helps other companies succeed. As of right now, Social Life Network has about 3 companies that they're helping currently get listed onto larger exchanges, and they have about 7 or 8 companies in general that they are working to achieve that goal. And so Social Life Network on a technical basis has been trading like butter. Every time we get to this level of resistance, we get rejected. And so right now we do expect Social Life Network to continue to trade up until here on March 22nd, where we will get a conclusion of this pattern and we will make a move either to the up or to the downside. And so that is kind of what we are waiting for Social Life Network before we pull the trigger here. Next stock of the day, we're looking at SEGI on the 30-minute time frame. So we were down 10% today, and these are beautiful days to be buying up SEGI. So you can see we are sitting on a level of support. We are sitting more specifically on our 50 SMA, and so anytime you can get a stock that has great potential for the future on a 50 SMA, that is a great buying opportunity, and it tends to yield positive returns. And so for looking at kind of ultimate downside, I would say about 4.6 cents is our last level of support. Where do I get that level? You could see our whole uptrend since about November has been following along this level, and so we would not be surprised at all if we get a back test here of this level of support. I believe if you do get a test of this level of support, that is a great buying opportunity just in terms of price. If you were buying up here at 10-11 cents, there's no reason you should not be buying here below 5 cents. Next stock of the day, we're looking at MJNA on the 30-minute time frame, and we're only down 4.29%. Why that's so significant is because penny stocks usually take the brunt of the sell-off when it happens. But if you saw with a high tide and you saw with the MJNA, we didn't get too much of a sell-off where we were looking at SNDL down about 7%. If you were looking at Tilray down about 12%, those companies are getting hit a lot harder than these ones. And so these are our long-term picks here. MJNA, high tide, held up very nice in the sell-off. We have just been consolidating here for MJNA between the 7 and 6 cents range, and I believe this is going to be a very nice level of support for our next move up, and I'm very excited to see the future prospects for this company, and so that is why I am invested into it. Another thing I want to mention here is our MACD on the daily time frame. You can see our MACD has just nicely leveled off, and this coincided with a nice consolidation at these levels. And so anytime you see nice consolidation, a stock trading sideways, that is a great time to be accumulating shares, and that is exactly what I believe MJNA is doing right now. I was a firm believer on buying this at 11-12 cents. Again, if I was buying then, why would I not buy now? And so that's kind of the philosophy that I have. And so overall, this is a great long-term hold for myself, something that I have a position in. I like the technicals right now. I like the consolidation and accumulation zone. You can see by our volume has just leveled off completely right here. And so we do expect to see some catalyst that will bring that up. And I think federal legalization will be a big topic that will eventually start to roll out some nice positive catalyst for a stock like MJNA. Next stock of the day, we're looking at ALYI here on the daily time frame. And so one of my subscribers, thank you to you, I appreciate you, let me know that this company likes to recycle their PRs, and they just kind of keep adding the same fluff over and over again without really accomplishing anything to their new products. And so I've seen that exact same situation play out with Cannabis Technologies. But one thing I do want to mention, and specific to that subscriber, is that you could still make money off the volatility. If you don't believe in the company long term, that's completely fine. But if we look at them on a technical basis, these guys have an incredible setup. They have volume behind them, And so there is money to be made here on ALYI. If we look at our MACD, you can see our MACD is about to cross over here on our signal line, and that would also bring us to a positive MACD. And so that would give us a great buying opportunity and a great buy signal for ALYI in the short term. And so remember, trading and investing are not the same. We are using this as a short-term play that could potentially be a hold, but for the short term, we do know there is money to be made here. Next stock of the day, we're looking at ACDC here on the 30-minute time frame. So we've been having a tough time with ACDC to break up or down. We have just been consolidating in this 45 to 55 cents range, but we have yet to get a back test of our 50 SMA. And so because we are sitting below our level of resistance here, and this is a level that we have been kind of tracking on our uptrend, we do believe that if we stay down here for a couple more days, we will inevitably get a back test of our 50 SMA. And that interaction right there will be extremely important for investors and traders. If we get rejected here and we break down, there is a lot more room to the downside, and that would not look good here for ACDC. So we want to see a back test and we want to see a great bounce. And if we do, that becomes a great opportunity to average down or buy into ACDC. Next stock of the day, we're looking at HYSR on the 30-minute time frame. So we got crushed down 8.61%. Still no buy signals here yet for Sun Hydrogen. We are trading below our 50 and still above our 100. We want to find support at one of these levels, and we want to see better price action to get a better play in on Sun Hydrogen. If we look here on the daily time frame, our MACD did cross over. It is negative and it does look like it might curl back down. So this is definitely not a time to be getting into Sun Hydrogen. And so looking at the technical, Sun Hydrogen is just kind of in no man's land, in free fall, trying to find a bottom, and we have yet to find a bottom. And until we get a better technical setup and a more distinctive price action, we are just going to wait and watch here on HYSR. And so that is our quick little update on all of our penny stocks that we are watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like. We are on the road to 10K subs, so if you made it to this point, feel free to hit that subscription button. This is Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.